So I got some questions about this situation in Hawaii because I've been seeing a lot of stuff that's really got me thinking. In the beginning, it looked like a wildfire to me, and I thought it was just, you know, a really unlucky set of circumstances. I heard there was a hurricane coming through at the time. Now, if you got a lot of dry, shrubbery and it catches fire and then a hurricane comes through, you're in trouble. You know what I mean? And when I heard that and I saw the pictures and the videos coming out of Hawaii, I was like, wow, that's what happens when a hurricane and a wildfire collide. You get like the apocalypse. I mean, that shit looked bad. But then all of a sudden, I'm seeing all this stuff on Instagram and in other places where they're showing pictures of laser beams hitting, and I'm like, what the hell? And so then I started looking into it, and I looked up the hurricane that was near there. Hurricane Dora was a Category 4 hurricane, pretty powerful hurricane. But the problem is that hurricane never came within like 600 miles of Hawaii. So here's the hurricane track, and there's Hawaii. Now, August 8th was the day of the fires, right? There's August 8th, 5 p.m. If a hurricane is 600 miles away, you're not going to feel anything from it. Let me put it to you this way. I've been through a few hurricanes in Florida now. Let's see. Here's Tampa. Now this is the part of Florida I'm in. It's this little, I'm over here in Clearwater. That's St. Pete, that's Tampa. Now, the last big hurricane to hit our area really wrecked this area. Cape Coral, Sanibel Island. Sanibel Island got friggin' destroyed. This is Sanibel Island. They took like the brunt of that hurricane. Now, the distance between Cape Coral and Tampa is maybe, I don't know, 100 miles. Is there anything that shows the mileage? Okay, there's a little 50-mile thing. So yeah, it's about 100 miles from Cape Coral to Clearwater. And so I was in my car in a parking lot during that hurricane, and we were getting about 60-mile-an-hour gusts. Now, you also got to keep in mind Hurricane Ian was a Category 5 hurricane. It was more powerful than Hurricane Dora, which is the one near Hawaii. And it was 50 miles away from me. I was in my car while that hurricane was happening. I just sheltered in my car in a parking lot. And we were getting gusts of wind around 60, 70 miles an hour. So we're 50 miles away from a Category 5 hurricane. And the worst things that I felt, of course, rain. And 60-mile-an-hour gusts of wind. That's all I felt from it. And I've been through many hurricanes in Florida. So, this is something I'm familiar with. Now, here, you've got a Category 4 hurricane, which was 600 miles away from there. Let me show you something else. So, 600 miles away, let me tell you something. If a hurricane is 600 miles away, you're not going to feel anything from it. Do you know how many times I've been in Clearwater while a hurricane is hitting Cuba over around Havana, Pina del Rio, like hurricane just rocking Cuba at the time. I'm in Clearwater, nothing, feeling nothing from it. Havana, Cuba is 300 miles from Tampa, Florida. So that's half the distance of that Hurricane Dora in Hawaii. Hurricane Dora never came within 600 miles of Hawaii. That's what I heard. If I'm wrong, let me know. But there's the distance between that hurricane and Hawaii. So 600 miles, that hurricane had zero impact on that wildfire. I don't know why they're saying that because there's no way. Like I said, I've been sitting in Clearwater, Florida while hurricanes are rocking Cuba hard, and we're feeling nothing from it. You know what I mean? When the hurricane was right down there in Sanibel Island, and I'm sitting here in Clearwater, Yeah, we felt some effects from it, but not really. You know, it's a hurricane. It's 600 miles away. You're not going to feel it. Now, here's some other weird stuff I've seen. Now, look, I'm not saying what did or didn't happen. I'm showing y'all the stuff that I've found. Now, let's see what this says. It says Hitachi recently announced that it has begun operations on the demonstration site for the Japan U.S. Island Grid Project, commonly referred to as Jump Smart Maui, on the island of Maui, Hawaii, in collaboration with the New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization, NEDO, Mizuho Bank Ltd., and Cyber Defense Institute Inc. An opening ceremony was held on Maui to coincide with the launch of site operations. Then you can hit the link, I guess. Last January of 2023, there was a smart city conference in Maui to turn Maui in an entire smart city island, pushing everything electric and making 15-minute smart cities. Lastly, there was a contract last year that was signed to build high-rise condos and businesses in Lahaina, which was a historical town that couldn't have any new development done to it. But now it can. So, that's interesting. Here's Oprah. Don't want to sell your beachfront property to BlackRock? Everybody gets a direct energy weapon blast. Now, am I saying it was direct energy weapon blast? I don't know. I don't even know what that is. So, now, the part of Hawaii that got destroyed by the wildfires was a prime land next to luxury mega mansions. How the hell the fire knew to avoid the part of the island where these celebrities have their multi-million dollar houses? That's, that's quite a coincidence how the wildfire conveniently destroyed everything they wanted to destroy, but it dodged all the celebrities' mansions. Now, here's an interesting thing. Police Chief John Pelletier of Maui was the police chief during the Las Vegas massacre in 2017. Two major events with no answers. You know, I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. Do I think that guy was in on it? I don't know. So, now I read this morning. This is pretty disturbing. Um, what you're not hearing from our local government. I just got out of a meeting where I was informed by someone in the mayor's office about developments that are being kept from the public. I am not a conspiracy theorist and I don't want to make trouble, but here's what I've heard. The amount of fatalities is expected to be more than 500, but less than 1,000. Many of the fatalities will be children who were at home because they canceled school. Parents worked and were not there to evacuate the kids. Kids had no idea they needed to leave, and by the time they noticed their homes or apartments were on fire, it was too late. This is what happens when everyone has to work all day, every day, and the kids are raised by the state. This is what happens. The government is worried about how we will react when we learn that the fire department left the fire earlier in the day and claimed it was 100% contained, knowing that the winds were expected to be 70 miles an hour in the afternoon. I mean, I don't know how normal 70-mile-an-hour wind is in Hawaii, but I can tell you one thing. That hurricane that was 600 miles away did not cause 70 miles an hour wind on Hawaii. Ask a meteorologist if you don't believe me. This is against all fire control protocols. Yeah, look, if there's a wildfire and there's expected to be 70-mile-an-hour winds, those firemen should know that fire needs to get dealt with, bro. Look, I'm not trying to rip on the fire department. My father was a New York City fireman. All my father's friends were firemen. I got cousins, uncles. I come from a family of firemen, so believe me, I'm not blaming the fire department, but it looks like their fire chief may not have been the best person for this job. This is against all fire control protocols. The fire department should not have left the original fire unattended. They are scared that the public calls for accountability will be more than they can control, and protests and riots will occur. They plan to lock down Lahaina for several months. It will take months to clean up the hazardous and environmental contamination. They won't have enough housing for all the displaced. Hey, look, man, if it was me, I would just live outside, so you're not running me out of my place. You know what I mean? Y'all should set up some tents. Don't go nowhere. Don't give up your property. I mean, it's easy for me to say from here, but look, I've lived outside most of my life. Me, personally, I wouldn't give up my property. Especially in a place like Hawaii, you know? It's one of the most beautiful places on Earth. There were 2,000 unaccounted for this morning. They have a list where they are trying to keep track. They found 700 today, but there are still 1,300 missing. They are very worried that the community is going to freak out when they find out how not a single fire truck responded to the fires. Not a single fire truck responded to the fires? How do you explain that? The emergency sirens were not activated, and loss of life could have been kept down by better emergency management, which utterly failed. I'm not trying to make waves or stir up problems, but I was so angry and sad when I found out how many children are dead that I knew I had to post this and let everyone know what I have learned. It's time for our officials to stand up, tell the truth, and face the music. They failed Lahaina, guys. Our government is full of incompetent nepotism. All of it. The entire government is the most incompetent, brainless, useless people you can imagine. The fire chief is the son of the former fire chief. We need to hold officials accountable for the mistakes they made. Please don't hate the messenger. I'm just relaying what I heard today. Well, I guess the local government in Hawaii is just as bad as the federal government, it seems. Me trying to focus on positive thoughts, self-development, and inner work, while the government melts entire towns with laser beams and blames it on cow farts. Yeah, look, that hurricane had zero impact on it. I can tell you that much. Oh, this is interesting. Hawaii, they're going to give you $700. $700. Ukraine, $6,657 per household. Why? Why do we send all this money to foreign countries when we've got half our population is out on the streets ODing on opioids? I mean, you got homeless people, you got homeless veterans, and we're sending billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. You got to be kidding me, bro. What are the chances that the Maui Police Chief, John Pelletier, just so happened to be the incident commander for the Las Vegas shooting 2017? Man, fuck these people. I'm with you, bro. I don't know what to think of that, but I don't know. That's quite a coincidence. And you know, I heard that there's no such thing as a coincidence, but y'all can think what you want, but let me tell you something. I don't trust none of it, bro. You know what I mean? Listen to this.
The powers that be are at work again. This was no wildfire. A wildfire that demolishes buildings, leaving trees standing, leaving restaurant umbrellas and trees untouched, yet having the power to destroy a boat in the middle of the ocean. Mindful, though, there are a lot of people that claim they see beam energy weapons. All of these images that I've seen circulating around have been around for many years. Yet what we are seeing here is definitely no wildfire. Wildfires do not completely burn out vehicles, glass and all. yet leaving nearby trees and utility poles still standing upright. We truly seem to be at a war between us and them. And the sad part, most people are blissfully unaware of it, even after the last few years. A true battle of good versus evil is being waged right now all around us. It is your choice whether or not you want to believe it, but your consent is not required. These evil actions will continue to happen with increased regularity as the powers to be struggle and grasp to take every bit of control they can from us. The guise of climate change, the guise of public health, whatever emergency they can create for a problem they want to solve, all with the same end goal of control. The truth is hidden in plain sight. Question everything, friends. Until next time. And prayers to the people of Maui. The powers that...
I mean, look. I don't know, but let me tell you something. Wildfires spread because they're burning trees and shrubbery. Fires in cities. Look, if fires did that in cities, New York City would be burned to the ground on a daily basis. Do you know how many serious fires? My father's firehouse was one of the busiest firehouses in the world. So there's seriously intense, at least in the 80s when my father was working, there was serious fires happening all over New York City multiple times a day. If those fires just spread in the city like they do in a wildfire, the entire New York City would have been leveled daily. You know what I mean? Fires don't spread through cities like they do the woods. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't do that. Look, I don't know. Maybe when there's 70-mile-an-hour winds involved, it's a different story. But I can tell you one thing. A hurricane that is 600 miles away, that is a Category 4 hurricane, is going to have very little impact, if any, on the weather that's 600 miles away. Like I said, I've been sitting here, right here in Clearwater, Florida, when hurricanes hit Cuba, and that's half the distance of this, and we feel nothing. Because I'll be sitting there watching the news, and I'm watching, like, the west side of Cuba, like Pinar del Rio, getting wrecked by a hurricane. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, that's amazing, because the weather out here is nice, and that's right there in Cuba, which is really close to Florida. It's 300 miles away. So, you know, this is a thought that's occurred to me when I'm watching the news and Cuba's getting rocked by a hurricane, because when that's happening, chances are that hurricane's going to turn north and hit us. You know what I'm saying? And it's also going to, once it hits that warm water in the Gulf, it's going to get strong again. So whenever there's a hurricane hitting Cuba, I'm paying attention to it, because odds are it's going to head north. It's going to generate power in the warm water in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to hit the west coast of Florida hard. Whether it hits Tampa, you know, you don't know what part it's going to hit, but you know, I got to say, Clearwater, Tampa, St. Pete, we've gotten very lucky with hurricanes. Now, I don't want to jinx us, but usually the hurricanes end up hitting north or south of us. But supposedly, the reason Tampa Bay even exists is because of the amount of hurricanes throughout history just plowing straight through this area right here. So this is Pinellas County. I live here. There's St. Pete's here. Clearwater's here. There's Tampa, Palm Harbor. This is the part of Florida where I'm usually at when I'm in Florida. But so yeah, you know, what do I think of the hurricanes? I don't know. I think there's more to this story than what we're being told. I think it's real convenient how they happen to just level all the land that they want to buy that they couldn't buy. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not trying to spread conspiracy theories or anything. You know, once I heard that they were trying to blame that hurricane and I started looking into it, because I was thinking to myself, if there's a wildfire going and a hurricane comes, the rain is going to put it out. So that's why I was like, they're saying that hurricane was what? Like a storm is going to put the fire out. So then I looked at it because I wanted to see if maybe the hurricane was like, 70 miles off the coast and they were just getting wind from it and no rain. But it was 600 miles away. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to think of it. Like I said, I don't want to cause any uproar, and my prayers go out to Hawaii. I think it's that's just one what a disaster, and it's because apparently they just handled it wrong. You know what I mean? That I don't know. I'm not a part of the Lahaina Fire Department or whatever. Um, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. And then the other strange thing is all the celebrities' mansions were fine. It was just, I don't know, man. Who knows? I don't know what to think of it. But, you know, tell me what you think in the comments. Do I think it was direct energy weapons or something? I, I don't know anything about that. But I can tell you one thing. You don't need laser beams from space to start a fire. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know what to think of it, but my prayers go out to Hawaii, and I hope everyone is able to recover, and I hope that the government starts sending you guys a couple of billion instead of sending it to the other side of the world to help people bomb each other. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. We're sending all this money to a foreign country, and then one of our own states, one of our most beautiful states, just got wrecked by a wildfire, and we're gonna send them a couple of million. I mean, that can't be right. I don't know, but uh, maybe that information is wrong. Maybe they're sending more than 700 per household, because I really hope they are, because it's gonna these people are gonna need more than $700. What are they supposed to do? Just go to work? Like, the whole place, from what I've seen, it it looks bad. It looks like, you know, they're not gonna be able to just go back to living normal lives anytime soon. So they're gonna need more than $700. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what to think of it, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Do I think it was direct energy weapons? I don't know anything about that. I don't know. I would I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, I can tell you that much. But anyways, everybody have a good one. I actually filmed another video yesterday that I was gonna upload, but then I was looking into all this morning, and I'm like, let me share this, because we need to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? And everyone should question everything. The people in charge of this country should not be trusted. They lie about, look what happened in 2020, and you know what I mean? So everybody have a good one. Question everything, man. I'll see y'all in the next one. So, oh yeah, thanks for the subs, thanks for the likes, thanks for the comments, thanks for the tips, and thanks for the Patreon support. I appreciate every single one of you. I'll see y'all in the next couple of days with whatever the next video is going to be. So everybody have a good one, and good luck to everyone in Hawaii.